Okay, hi everyone. So this is a quick introduction and also explanation of the noun clause class, which is an online class. First, I want to tell you that you will have all the time in the world to go back and forward and check on the information as many times as you want, and you will have the chance to listen to this video. And you can also Google more videos on YouTube to deeply understand the idea of the noun clause. So first here, I'm gonna um, show you the document you're going to be working with. So this document, it's a combination of practices and answer keys. So it's a 7 pages document where you will find explanations, the answers, and I'm going to try to guide you step by step with the practices to get to understand the noun clauses. So here, for you to know, you will find the answer key. Here you have the answer key for the practices on your book. So you can check on the answer keys here to double check if you understood it. Some of the things that I want you to understand is what are noun clauses. So noun clauses are not as complicated as they may sound. I want to show you, this is your antología. Here you have on page 29. They explain the different kinds of noun clauses. But before understanding the different types of noun clauses, let's understand what a noun clause is. And there are usually clauses. That means, what was a clause? It means that it's a fragment of the sentence that has a subject and has a verb. So they are introduced with these phrases. They can be introduced with how, that, what, when, which, who, whom, or whose. Then you also have whom, whoever, and whomever. Okay, but these over here, these are the most common ones. In fact, the most common one is that. And after that, we also have who, which, and what. So the first step is identifying them. Don't worry about classification, just identify them in the sentence. So remember that when you identify noun clauses, you need to focus on that the word introducing the clause, a verb, and a complement. And then you have the main verb of the clause, of the sentence. So the main verb of the sentence is not in the clause. The noun clause never touches the main verb in the sentence. Okay? So here, for example, whoever, that, where, whoever, and then whoever again. Okay? Now the noun clauses, we have different kinds of noun clauses. We have a subject, predicate, nominative, direct object, indirect object, object of a preposition. Now let me tell you that the names may sound complicated, but they are not complicated at all. So let's start with the subject. If they are at the beginning, or it can be at the end of the clause, but if they answer who is the doer of the action, and the answer is all of that clause, then it's the subject. For example, whoever leaves last should turn off the lights. So who should turn off the lights? Whoever leaves last. So all of this becomes the subject. So it's a subject with a noun clause. The other one is the opposite of this, but it's a predicate nominative. This one has the most complicated name, but in my opinion, it's one of the easiest ones. So here, it is basically the noun clause that starts with a noun, introduced by a word like that, in this case, but is after verb to be. This is the main characteristic of the predicate nominative. So it is not the subject, but it goes after verb to be. The direct object is what we call the common predicate. Remember that for the subject we ask who does the action, and then for the predicate we respond with the action itself. Now normally the predicate includes the main verb. Here the direct object is what is after the main verb. So here what you respond is what. what or how. For example, does someone know where we pick up the ticket? So who knows? Someone. Knows what? Where to pick the tickets. So let's say that is kind of the object of the predicate. Is the thing that receives the action of the verb. Notice that the main verb, is not included. Again, the noun clause starts where the word where, that, who, which, or whom start. So this answers to the word what. Okay. Then the indirect object, this can be the most complicated one. But to explain the indirect object, I'm going to go and explain it to you based on this example. So the indirect object is this. Jim builds his granddaughter a castle on the beach, right? Jim is the subject. Who builds the castle on the beach? Jim. Build is the verb. What did Jim see when we answer the question what? We have the direct object. What did Jim build? The sandcastle. Now, who got the sandcastle is the indirect object. Who it would be the person who gets the direct object. For example, Cindy gave her students a practice. The subject is Cindy. The verb is gave. So who gave her students a practice? The subject, Cindy. What did Cindy give to her students? A practice. And a practice will be the direct object. And who received the practice? Who received the action? Who received the direct object? Let me change the color. Is her students. Okay. Doer, action, the object of the action, and the one who received the action. I'm going to give another example. Sylvia okay, let me see. Sylvia baked her son a cake. Okay. Main verb, gave. Who gave her son a cake? Who? Sylvia. What did Sylvia bake? A cake. Responding to what? We have direct object. This is the direct object. And who received the cake? Her son. And the person who received the direct object, which is a cake, is the indirect object. So it's called indirect object because indirectly receives the action. Okay? What is the action? Bake. What was baked? The cake. But who received the cake? Her son. So that is the indirect object. Okay? And the object of a preposition, for that I'm going to go back to the previous one. So the object of a preposition, it sounds very complicated, but it's really easy. Are those noun clauses that go before a preposition? Okay, that goes before a preposition. So those are the types of noun clauses that we have. Be gentle with yourself. You are not supposed to recognize it on the spot. It happened to me when I was doing the practices too, that sometimes I forgot the name. For example, I forgot, what was it called? The predicate nominative. What was it called? The one that goes after verb to be? I forgot it. And then sometimes I forgot the indirect object. Which was it? Okay. So I would recommend to first identify the subject, then the direct object. And once you identify those two, you can identify the indirect object. The object of a preposition is really easy because it goes after a preposition, and the predicate nominative is the noun clause that goes after verb to be. On the practice, I also suggest some websites that you can visit. And here, suggested videos. And then you have the answer keys on your book or your, I'm going to change this, anthology. Okay, so starting on page 29. All right. So I'm going to send you by email to each of you your exams as soon as I have the chance to take the pictures and email them to you so you can take a look at them. And if you have any question, don't doubt about it. Just send me an email and I can respond pretty much immediately or as soon as I can. So good luck with that, you guys.